What's going on, guys? God Prepper here. So, I have some very interesting things I wanted to talk about, and I've been really late on recording any of this. And if you hear any noise in the background, I got my dog in the room with me, so if you might hear he's scratching right now, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but if you can, I apologize. But anyways, uh, a couple things I want to talk about, which was really interesting. So I'm just gonna get right into it. So the very first thing that I had is I had a dream not too long ago. It was a couple days ago. I think I might have recorded it. And it was really interesting. And I think it's very important and kind of cryptic. And I believe God gave me the dream. And in the dream, I was in a cafeteria, like a college cafeteria, because they're really big. It's not like a high school, it's different. Everyone just looks grown to some degree. And so I was in this cafeteria and there was a few police around. There wasn't like a lot, but there was a few police. And all of a sudden, one of the police grabs his gun. And I don't know if he grabbed his sidearm or if he somehow grabbed his long rifle, which would have been an AR. I can't remember exactly. And then another police officer, maybe like 10, 15, maybe 20 feet behind this officer, gets in this green bag and pulls out a police version of a rocket launcher. Now, of course, if you know what a rocket launcher is, I'm sorry, not a rocket launcher, a grenade launcher. And the grenade launcher has cylinders, and I think it has 8 cylinders. And the police version, they use tear gas or even smoke, whereas the military version will actually launch explosives, which are grenades, or they can also use smoke. So, and of course, police officers have some access to these grenade launchers. They're just police variants, so they use tear gas and smoke. So, and as they're doing this, all the people in this cafeteria are freaking out. They're just going running. Now, the weird thing about this dream is that the police weren't really, in my opinion, they weren't posing a threat to anyone in the cafeteria, but they were they just reacted. They just pulled out their guns out of nowhere and seemingly for no reason. And here's the thing, I'm not one of those people on the internet, especially with everything going on with George Floyd. I'm not one of those people who sits here and thinks that all police are bad. I do think we've been seeing some cases of bad police officers, but I don't think all police officers are bad. And I've even had some friends that are police. So please don't misinterpret this dream as me saying police are bad. But I do think God was giving me a warning for a reason, and what that reason is, I'm not exactly sure because they pulled out their weapons, whatever their weapons might have been. One was a grenade launcher, police variant, so it was probably like tear gas or smoke, and the other one pulled out either his sidearm or a long rifle. I can't remember exactly, but that really wasn't important. So once all this chaos breaks out, I run out through the exit, and like two other people run with me. And as I'm running out, I see these cars. I see all these cars because, of course, it's like a college campus, and they have almost to be like things hooked up to them. Like it's like you can't really see it, but it's like a red flashing light just blinking. And it's where their tire would be. Not where their tire would be. It's where their inner fender well would be. So if you have your tire right here, you have the inner fender well, which is like that plastic cover that kind of protects some of the wires in your car and stuff and certain things like that. If you don't know anything about mechanics, then you probably won't know what an inner fender well is. But anyways, so they had like things hooked up and it almost reminded me of like a bomb. And I just remember seeing that in the dream and like avoiding all those cars because I didn't know if they were bombs. I didn't know what they were that was blinking red on these cars, which of course, if you know, cars don't just randomly blink red on where their inner fender well is. So it was almost like something was hooked up to them. Like maybe it was like a pre-planned terrorist attack or like a pre-planned something, some kind of attack. And I got in my car and I thought someone was following me and it was a girl and she got in her car and then that other guy, I don't know what happened to the other guy. And I drove off and as soon as I drove off, I woke up. So I didn't actually see any bombs go off, anything like that. I didn't see any police shooting. I didn't see anyone shoot. I didn't see anything happen. All I saw was people reacting. I got out of there in my car and left. So with all that being said, I can't sit here and tell you what's going to happen, but I can tell you it's going to be at a school and it's going to be in Florida because the police officers were wearing Florida's green uniforms. Because I live in Florida, I won't say specifically where, but I live in Florida, and they all wear a darker green color. The sheriffs all do. So that I can say is going to be in Florida. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. So if you guys have any information or have anything like that involving Florida or a school, feel free to share that. Now, the second dream is where this is going to get a little bit deeper. So I'm not one for politics. I believe that the Illuminati is real. I know not every Christian believes that. I personally believe the Illuminati is real. I believe there is a group of people that worship Satan and control the world, and they inevitably want to, control the whole population, control the whole world. I believe that personally. If you don't, that's okay. So this dream was about Trump, and I've never been given a political dream in my life besides this one. So I think it's very fascinating because I've always had first-person dreams. I've never had dreams like how you see some people talk about where, they'll be above the earth and they'll see all these things happening. I've never been given a dream like that. I've only ever been given first-person dreams or symbolic dreams where like there's symbolism in them, you know what I mean? But never like third person or like worldview dreams. So with that being said, I was driving at the time I owned a red Mustang. It was a 2006 red Mustang. So I was driving that in a dream, and all of a sudden a cop pulls me over. And he goes, it does the whole routine thing. Oh, I stopped you? I was like, oh, no, sir, I don't know why you stopped me. And he said, oh, well, you're doing a 55 and a 25. You're doing 55 and a 25. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you're speeding in front of the White House. Now, this is where the dream gets a little weird because where I was not the White House. Where I was a desert. And for anyone, of course, because you guys don't know me, I lived in Las Vegas for a number of years, quite a few years, actually. And I even visited California every once in a while, even though I don't really care for California at all. I visited California, and where we were looked just like the Nevada / California desert, where it's in between. So it's very, like, you got some red rocks, because red rocks out there, so you got some reddish, brownish colored rocks, and it's very dry, very just like, it'd be very hard to survive in that desert. So, and that's what I find very interesting that God showed me, because why would why would this dream be set up in that context where we're out in a desert, but I'm speeding in front of the White House? And I also made a joke to the officer where I said, oh, well, I'll just tweet Trump and have him pay for this ticket. And then me and the cop both laughed, and he's like, all right, you can go on your way. So, very interesting dream. And I've never been given anything political besides what I assume this is, which I believe this might be political, and talking about Trump and his maybe spiritual walk. Maybe he really isn't that strong of a Christian as we've been led to believe. I can only speculate based on this dream, and I'm not here to bash Trump. I'm not here to bash that or bash anyone's beliefs. I'm just simply raising questions, because I've often questioned. I was like, so thinking and believing that the Illuminati owns pretty much everything. And I kind of believe we're seeing that, because if you look at the news, no matter what happens, they're only reporting on the bad. They're only reporting on, and then they're not showing the truth. They're not sharing the truth. They are not of the truth. They're of this world, and they lie, lie, lie. So my question is, or what I've theorized is, what if they gave us somebody that we would trust? The Illuminati, what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just speculating. I don't know. But what would be the best plan to trick your enemy? Your best plan to trick your enemy is to give them somebody they could trust, be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, I don't know if Trump is really a bad guy, but with what God has shown me and then what I've theorized in the past and even now, it kind of makes sense. And I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm going to, start disliking Trump, but what if all this news media hate towards Trump is to fool the Christians into believing that he's a bad guy, and to fool him into believing that he's actually fighting for us? Because what would be the best way to trick Christians is to trust Trump completely. Because, the world hates him, so that means we can trust him because, well, clearly the Illuminati hates him, and, they're smart. They know that the population knows about the Illuminati. Whether they truly believe or not, they know that most of the population knows now. And if they could play onto that, but yeah, I think they're really trying to play onto that role. And especially because what God gave me, which was that the Washington D.C. was a desert. It was desolate. It was dry. It was like there's, because if you think about it, if Trump was really living for God, using scripture, wouldn't wouldn't it be a lush, overgrown, fruit-bearing place, right? Like, what about the Amazon jungle where there's plants everywhere and it's wet and it's growing with fruit? Or I mean, I don't know the Amazon, that well, but but you get my point. Like, why would God show me that the White House is a desert? If Trump is really a man of God, why would it be desolate and dry and dead in a sense? You know what I mean? Like, why would it be like that? And I think it's because Trump isn't necessarily who we think he is. Even if, and let me clarify this, even if he isn't working for the bad guys, what if he really isn't fully working for God? What if he's not truly sold out for God, which is why the White House is a desert? Because I can't see any. And if you got a different interpretation, feel free, please, feel free to tell me. I'm all about other people's opinions and and seeing what other people think because multiple minds is better than one, if you ask me. So if you have a different opinion, that's fine. But I just wanted to share this, and I wanted to share that first dream too because I was given it a while ago, like maybe even a week ago, and I still was just being lazy and hadn't shared it. So that's all I really got to say for now. It's God Prepper. Keep praying, guys. Keep a watchful eye. Don't just think everything's handy duty. Because we're seeing some crazy things with these riots, and just keep praying, guys. Keep praying.